You're right.
Okay, thank you. Are there any residents that wish to make comments to the board before the meeting starts? Okay, then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. John Elkins. Here. David Att. Here. David O'Donnell. Here. Rob Purcell.
Here.
Chuck Keel, General Manager.
Here.
Here, we have a quorum and we will proceed. I'd like to get a motion to approve the meeting minutes of our February 27th meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Second. Any comments on the minutes? All in favor of approving the minutes for February 27th, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so approved. I'd like to get a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting of March 11th, 2025.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comment on those meeting notes? Okay, all in favor of approving the meeting minutes for March 11th, 2025, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the election of a board member. We originally had two candidates that were under consideration, and I forwarded to the board the one candidate elected not to continue with his nomination. Although, just as a note, I did talk to him about potentially joining one or two committees just to sort of get into the loop of things to keep his interest going in the community. So we do have one candidate to consider. Before we vote, I'd like to ask Lisa DePatty to stand up.
Yeah, extra pen.
You're use mine.
Oh, thank you.
We
Okay.
we need her to make a speech.
No.
I got two people that want to be done by 7:30. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
So per our resolution of the February, or excuse me, the March 11th meeting, we're now going to vote by secret ballot. Please indicate if you're voting yes for Lisa or no, and then we'll turn it into Chuck.
Playing some Jeopardy music.
We should rushing on the word.
Oh, make a speech. That's good. Yeah.
Well, Chuck, while you're certainly counting, what I'd like to do is when we're done with this step, I'd like to propose a resolution to reopen nominations for consideration at the April 27th meeting with a cutoff date for nominations of April 18th. And we'll vote on that after this is concluded.
Unanimous.
Okay, Lisa,
Here you go.
come on in. Great nation.
Got her over there.
Okay.
We want her over here.
Well, this way, John, this way we get to look at it.
Yeah, that's right.
My goodness.
Be careful what you say. Lisa takes the credit.
Okay. You're allowed to throw that in. Okay. All right, so I would like to propose a resolution that we reopen nominations for the remaining board position to be considered at the April 27th board meeting with a cutoff for self-nominations from the community by April 18th, 5 o'clock.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
You get the vote.
Oh, I.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the board president's report. Good evening and welcome to everyone joining us tonight for this regular monthly board meeting. I have several items to review with everybody before the treasurer's report. First, I would like to thank everyone that took the time to complete a proxy for our annual meeting earlier this month. Sandoval overachieved the number of proxies required to achieve a quorum and make our annual meeting official. In the committee reports later in the agenda, I will cover the current pre-construction activities with Blue Stream. The community has been very busy with a number of social activities, with more to come. The staff and volunteers that plan, set up, and clean up after these activities are deserving of our thanks for making Sandoval the active community that it is. Tonight, we voted to add a new board member, and we will be looking to fill the remaining slot in our April 27th meeting. The Lakes Committee is presenting for approval the reserve spend request for the ongoing lake repair efforts. The final item that I'd like to discuss is the resolution being considered by the board tonight to approve the security budget to cover adding Cape Coral police patrols within our community. If approved tonight, this will be the first step to adding daily police patrols to our community. Florida law dictates that we enter into formal negotiations with the city to achieve an agreement for patrols. That agreement will ultimately have to be approved by the Cape Coral City Council. So we are just at the beginning of making this happen. If the resolution passes, the board will be working with the general manager to achieve the end goal. Why are we asking the board to consider taking this step? Unfortunately, we have all witnessed drivers who do not respect the basic rules of the road in our community, unlicensed vehicles on the road, unlicensed vehicles used in our streets for drag racing, trespassing, and vandalism of varying degrees on our common amenities. In the past 6 months alone, we have experienced 24 acts of vandalism that have required the on-site staff or residents to take time to clean up after or repair and replace damaged items. Residents wishing to use the amenities must spend the time repairing the amenity before they can use those amenities. When the on-site staff must clean up after or repair after an act of vandalism, that takes them away from doing the necessary work to maintain Sandoval. In some cases, the on-site staff has had to clean up human excrement left by a vandal. These acts of vandalism will ultimately impact all residents as we deal with the staff time and material costs to clean up, repair, and replace. I believe we have an obligation to take steps to mitigate the negative behavior and the damage we are experiencing. I will be engaging the community on a more detailed basis on these steps once we conclude tonight's meeting. With that, I would now turn this over to the treasurer.
Hi, everybody. Let me turn these.
Oh, okay, nothing. I don't have Andrew remind me to do that anymore. Yeah.
Uh, Before I get into this is I've made some adjustments to the treasurer's. I've made some adjustments to the treasurer's report. Now everything is breaking. Since we transitioned to precedent, their reporting is a little different format than what Associa was. So you will see a few changes to these to the slides that I'm going to show. All right, 25 budget year-to-date income is equal. Year-to-date income is equal to budget income. Year-to-date house sales as of 3/24 is 12. The forecast for the year is 75, so we're a little under, but I'm not too concerned about that at this time. And our expenses are under budget. We're continuing to use the IntraFi cash system for paying our bills. Reserve assessment funds, we have $339,454 in popular reserve balance. Fifth Third balance is $3,680,226. Total reserve is $4,019,681, and the market yield for Fifth Third is 3.46%. Got an error up there, but the 2025 reserve spend year to date is $65,842. We met with precedent on Monday because of invoice issues, and we had conversations about some changes that have to be made, and they were going to be working on that. We're still having transition issues with GL coding, and we also had to change audit firms because the previous audit company that we um, signed a contract with basically came back and said, we don't want to do this because your books are a mess, and that's the result of a SOCIA. So with the help of precedent, we found a different auditor that's willing to go through this and clean everything up. All right. Year-to-date financials. Operating income less than 1% below plan, so I'm not concerned about that. Operating expense, positive year-to-date variance. Reserve income above plan. Reserve expense below plan. Total income better than plan, and total expense above plan. And this includes adjustments that I made to the neighborhood landscape other. For whatever reason, they had it coded incorrectly, and we had $230,000 negative amount coded to those GLs. So I removed it while I'm waiting for them to straighten that out. But I didn't want to, if I showed it, if I left it the way it was, we'd look like we were about $270,000 below expenses. So I removed it since I know it's an error. All right. Major expenses. Utilities expense, need to research why that's above plan. And but overall, the major expenses are below budget. Other expenses, reserve expenses, like I said before, I need to look into that. Professional services are higher than planned due to the Blue Stream fiber. Once we get the door fee in a few months, that will self-adjust and self-correct itself.
We should have a door fee by early April.
Okay, it'll be corrected a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Is that
Um,
taxable?
Pardon?
Is that taxable?
Well, can I answer that when Dave's done? Okay, sorry, Dave, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay, that's all right. The administrative fees are higher than, but that's mainly due to the mailings that they did for us at the beginning of the year, and I expect to see that level out over time. This slide is completely new. What I did was with Precedent's reporting system, they combine the assets with the reserve. It's still separate accounts, but they just show it in one report. So I did the same thing here. So I have the assets on the left side and the liabilities and equity on the right side. And I just think it's an easier snapshot of where we stand from a balance sheet perspective. All right, delinquencies. The master assessment delinquencies I know is incorrect. I don't know whether it's a handful or if it's a lot, but what is included in the delinquency count is the number of residents that have not paid January assessment yet. And I do know for a fact, because I sent out an email warning everybody that come April 1st, we're going to start assigning late fees and interest. And I had more emails in the last 5 or 6 days than I've ever had since I retired. And with people coming out and saying, this is wrong, they have sent me proof. I've gone through the aging report. I've had identified some people that I know it shows that they didn't pay when they in fact did pay. So I have to straighten that out. I don't know how long it's going to take because I have to get together with the SOCIA. Some cases, it's a person's called me and said, I wrote the check. The check hasn't cleared the bank yet, and it says I haven't paid. So those are the types of things I have to straighten out, and I just don't know how long it's going to take to do that. The special assessment delinquencies, the amount is slowly going down. I'm hoping to get to the point where we can concentrate on that a little bit more. The majority of the residents that make up that 97, it's basically interest and late fees that they haven't paid. So again, that's something that I'm going to look into, but it's something that's going to take time. All right, final slide. This is just showing what the reserve spend is. Like I said, the year-to-date reserve spend is 65,842, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but we did the sidewalk grinding because of safety hazard, replacement of the Pelican chairs, and fixing the water slide.
I have a question on the delinquencies.
Yes.
I know we have the opportunity to create liens. Have we done that, or are we contemplating that?
We have done that to some residents. There's a process we have to follow, and we have to follow a certain process, and after so many days, then we can do that. One of the issues that I have is that when we transition from Associa to Precedent, all of the delinquency fees were loaded into 30 days. So I'm not sure how, other than to go in and manually look at each one to try to figure out where it is in the cycle. So
When we assert liens, does it change the payments? Has that generated payment when we actually start applying a lien?
the ones that we sent to collections have generated payments.
Okay.
There are some people that just,
Don't have the money. Yeah.
if I have to go through the visitor's line to get in, that's what I'm going to do. And I started to go through and compare the master assessment aging report to the delinquency assessment or aging report. And I am finding, you look at it, you know it right away that, yep, it's the same people that aren't paying anything for living here. And that's the report. Does anybody else have any questions?
Well, let me address, John, let me answer your question. So, yes, the door fee check that we get from Blue Stream Fiber is a tax. It's considered extraordinary taxes, so it's at a higher rate than we pay for our other income.
Yeah.
However, you get to expense against it all expenses directly related to the project. So the expenses of the legal team and the expenses of the consultant, which we've tried to time are all 2025 events, will be used to reduce what the net profit is. And we should be down to less than $10,000 when it's all said and done.
Smart. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That was like we structured, the big thing was Joe Bertan's contract. We structured it that the main payment would occur in 25 to coincide with the door fee payment. Okay.
Just one last question on the numbers for Dave. On the operating balance sheet, I know you might have touched on this, but I just couldn't put two and two together. The total other current assets, 343,670, that's the bracketed number. Could you address what that is again?
That's money in the clearing account. And
Okay.
that's money that we inherited when we moved from Associa. And I'm hoping that with the auditor that we're going to be able to figure all that out.
And then it'll get shifted to where it belongs.
It could, well, yeah, it'll shift to where it belongs.
Okay.
Or either that, or they'll do some reconciliation adjustments to bring the value of that account line.
We have some as a positive in the reserves too. So that has to be adjusted too.
Okay.
Any other questions for Dave on the financials? Okay, thank you. All right. The next item of business is we have 5 violations to review and vote on. The first one is account number 9795261 EHC. Do I have a motion to assess a violation of $100 a day?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion on this account?
Nope.
No, okay. All in favor of assessing penalty payment on account 9795261 PHC, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next account, 9795261 SVC. Do I have a motion to assess a $100 a day penalty on this account?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of assessing a penalty on account number 979526115 SVC, please say aye.
Aye.
The next account is 979525531 STHC. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on this account? All in favor of assessing the financial penalty on account number 979525531 STHC, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have a question. Those last three are all the same.
No, they're different. I apologize if I'm blurring the words, but they are distinct account, different account.
I'm just looking at the documents.
Well, what you'll see in the documents is that the process is that it shows every letter that was issued to them and the process to give them an opportunity to cure the violation. So it's the most recent letter is the one where they were given
Gotta be all the letters.
the last chance to cure before it came to the board.
Okay.
So this is one of the things that I think that the management team has been doing is they've been standardizing the letters. We had a lot of discussion last year about trying to make sure we're following the right process for notification and giving them ample opportunity to cure.
And then it goes to covenants.
Yes, and then when they get they'll then finally have the ability to go to covenants. Yes. So I believe we're to the last one, account number 979526613 ASC. Do I have a motion to assess a penalty of $100 a day on that violation?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that account? All in favor of assessing the penalty on account 979526613 ASC, please say aye.
I
Thank you.
think you may have skipped the fourth one.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we did too.
Okay, thank you for catching me. Account number 979526625 VOC. Do I have a motion to assess the penalty at $100 a day?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of assessing the penalty on account number 979526625 VOC, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Next is the general manager's report.
All right. Done. Good. Um, this month we had 63 violation letters and 2 gate strikes. That's an all-time low on gate strikes. Now I just jinxed it. But I was happy to have just 2. Um, the common area sod replacement phase 2 is still in progress. There will be a phase 3. This is a slow process as obtaining the sod and actually being able to legally water it is kind of slowing the process down. That's why we just didn't do this all in one big bang. The trees and coconuts were trimmed around the pool, and actually 2 trees were removed that had died. The new pool showers, there's 2 showers out there. They will be replaced tomorrow. We are in the process of ordering our next, we're getting approval and ordering our next third of pool lounge chairs. We're probably losing 3 chairs a week now just by them falling apart. So it's important that we kind of get these new chairs ordered and on board. We've installed 3 cameras this week, 2 on the bocce court and 1 on the pickleball court. This is for some safety and security. This past week, the week before, was spring break. We added an additional security guard during the day. That seemed to work. There was a couple of issues. Obviously, there was some damage to the bocce court, hence the cameras. That luckily was repaired. But more disturbing, we had a situation in the clubhouse restroom where individuals entered the restroom in the clubhouse between the hours of 9 and 9:45. And when the cleaning people arrived at 11 o'clock, the restrooms had been vandalized with paper towels stuck to the walls, ceilings, mirrors, clogged toilets, and urine on the floor. So this is something that obviously we're not putting cameras in restrooms, but we do have the ability to know who had swiped their card and who was in the building at that time. It's kind of hard to connect the dots. Just because they're in the building doesn't make them guilty. But if this happens again, we have a common denominator, we will be, looking to see if we can do something with that. It's definitely a tricky situation because of the fact it's a restroom, but it's something that I think it's important to let everybody at home, just everybody here, that this is something that needs to be addressed.
Joe, can I ask you a question on that one?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to put a camera outside the restroom that would show who's going into the restroom?
Yes, and actually in the budget for this year, we had put in for 5 cameras, 2 of which would get the entrance to the pool and entrance to the gym on the outside and the 2 restroom doors on the outside. We're in the process of, obviously, we don't want to get into a long discussion about Envira, but we're not ready to kind of commit to those 5 cameras under Envira as we investigate other alternatives. But that would definitely help when we could see people coming in. We do have cameras in the gym and we do have cameras in the lobby. So on that side, we're okay. But it's something, as Bill mentioned during his report, this is not the first time this has happened. But it's something that is disturbing and we need to figure out a way around this. I think by communicating this to the community that this is a problem that hopefully, this resolves itself. I know that tip off is coming up, so I'll keep this short. Go Florida.
Thank you.
But I do want to mention that we have a project that we refer to as the pool mechanical refurb. This is kind of a project that we had on the schedule for last year. This is a coordination effort of multiple vendors in order to get an electrician, a pool technician, a pool construction person, and a general contractor permitting, all of that stuff taken care of so we can minimize any downtime. The pool will have to be shut down for a period of time in order to have all this work done. This is something that's important. It's a mechanical pool. The last time it had any kind of attention was after Ian. when we replace the motors, but there are a number of issues there. Anything that sits out in the sun in Florida starts to break down. There's some wear and tear in there that if we don't pause to fix it and it breaks, it could be a lot longer of a downtime. So it's tricky to get all of these vendors lined up at the same time, but we're getting close to that. We're hoping to put this in a time slot where it's after season, kids are in school, to minimize any type of any disruption to the pool. But it will have to close. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Now I don't have a date yet, as we're still working towards this. But we'll keep you posted on each GM report. I'll start putting it in GM report and also speak about it here at the board meetings. Any questions? That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck. Okay. The next item on the agenda is old business. This is the Lake Erosion Repair Reserve spend request originating from the Lakes Committee.
Hi, back again. Um, um, the Lakes Committee has been working with Seabreeze, the vendor we used for shoreline repair, to try and come up with the best value for the community for a contract for doing the repairs this year originally. And we did talk to them and went back and forth on trying to get a better price. They came back with a 4-year plan, which they wanted us to commit to 4 years, and it gave us a better price per linear feet, which increased every year. We didn't want to recommend a 4-year plan. They came back to us basically with the same price with a 2-year plan. So we're looking at $82 a linear foot this year and $84 a linear foot next year. This year we're looking at 2,543 linear feet. And this one doesn't have the final price. It's 213,526. Doing the math in my head here. For this year, next year we're looking at $84 a linear foot, and they recommended 2,914 linear feet, and that price comes in at 200 and I'm 222. Yeah, that's it. So,
Number 221, 155.
yeah. So I'd like to ask the board to have us negotiate the final contract with them using these numbers.
Jen, before we start the Q&A, can we do a formal resolution on that?
Sorry, I was gonna make a motion.
Okay, gonna make a motion. Go ahead.
I move that we approve the expenditure and authorize our manager to go into begin contract negotiations as proper verbiage for us, which we'll review.
Okay. Do I have a second to that?
I'll second.
So, John, your motion is to cover 2025 and 2026 commitment.
It is.
Okay, just want to clarify that. Thank you. All right. Any questions for John or the Lakes Committee?
How many lakes are included in this year and in the next year? What lakes are they?
So this year, it's what we had talked about originally was one side of Lake 19, which is the lake across from the Little Dog Park. It's just the one side against Claremont. And all of Lake 22, which is, I have where it is. I don't have where it is. So that's one of the smaller lakes in towards the Pine Island Gate. It's one of the smaller ones. The whole shoreline needs to be done. So
As a point of discussion, this is one of the hardest working committees we've got and really done a lot of extensive research in this. And the ones they've chosen, the ones that have the worst erosion. So if you got a severe drop off,
Yeah.
you're really endangering this people walking that sideline. Plus, you're not fulfilling what the county requires. So they've done a really good job of looking at alternatives, and I think we should improve this.
So the other part of that question is, so Seabreeze went through and did an evaluation for this quote, and they came up with 2 lakes for next year. But I think we should put in the contract that we negotiate which specific lakes at the time. We want to make sure that we're getting those areas that need the most repair. So I want to make sure we have that verbiage in the contract.
Thank you for the clarification. Questions? Thanks. Any other questions? Okay. Are we ready to vote on this? Okay.
Who's second? We have a second.
Sorry.
Good. All right. All those in favor of approving this reserve spend request from the Lakes Committee, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Get to listen to something else at night. Okay.
She heard that.
Okay, the next item under new, the first item under new business, I should say, is the resolution to exceed current budget on GL 5609-00-00 safety and security. A resolution, whereas Florida law section 720.303, item 1, grants the association powers to maintain and manage such property as private roads under Florida law, section 720.303.1, where the association is responsible for maintaining and protecting the common amenities, which includes taking reasonable steps to prevent or mitigate vandalism in these areas. And whereas Florida statute section 316.006, section 2, subsection B, provides the framework for the Cape Coral Police Department to exercise traffic control jurisdiction over private roads. Be it resolved that the Association Board of Directors authorizes an increase in the 2025 operating expense budget line item GL 5609-00-00 from $100,000 to $165,000 with the sole purpose for the association to contract with the Cape Coral Police Department to provide daily part-time patrol of the Sandoval community roads and common properties. The objectives of the daily part-time patrol will be for the Cape Coral Police Department to provide mitigation of trespassing within the community, deterring of vandalism on common amenities, and providing enforcement of all applicable traffic laws as defined by Florida law. Be it further resolved, the general manager, board president, and association legal counsel are authorized to commence negotiations with the Cape Coral Police Department for both a short-term arrangement and a long-term arrangement with the Cape Coral Police Department for daily part-time patrols. The long-term agreement will be negotiated based on the provisions of Florida Statute Section 316.006, Section 2, subsection B. Such long-term agreement must be reviewed and approved by the association board before the agreement is executed. The general manager is also required to establish coordination between the Cape Coral Police Department and the existing private security agency currently under contract with the association. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Comments on this resolution?
I only think it would be nice if we had those cameras that we voted on too. Might have some data. Is that coming?
Which cameras, John?
We voted to have cameras on 2 cameras on the parkways,
Oh, you mean
Oh,
the
the radar.
mitigation signs?
right? Yeah.
Yes, they're scheduled. We're waiting for them to be delivered so they can be installed.
I'm sorry, what?
We are waiting for them to be delivered so they can be installed. I believe safety and security met with Brian to set the locations. We're just waiting for the signs themselves to come in.
That might be useful for guiding the police where to look.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds good.
Yeah.
It's too bad we have to do that.
I don't think we have a choice.
No, we don't.
So nothing will happen until Cape Coral approves it. Is that correct?
Well, we're going to sit down with them and try to see what we can get them to do on an interim basis until we have a formal agreement. As I understand the Florida law, they can't do traffic enforcement without this 316 agreement in place.
But they can patrol.
But they can patrol, and I need to understand, for example, if they see someone driving an unlicensed golf cart down the street, what are they able to do with that? If they see unlicensed vehicles drag racing down our street, what can they do with that? Speeding, running through stop signs, things like that. I'm sure we're going to have to get into the formal agreement. Also, I think having them on premise during certain times of the day will shorten the response time once someone like security might detect vandalism going on, that we can bring the police in to deal with it. I was very frustrated when I had a discussion with our police department last week, or a week and a half ago, that they couldn't. They basically told me they can't do anything unless they see it.
Right.
So short of someone firing a gun at someone, I mean, we're gonna have to take this step in order to really try to get some proactive enforcement in these community walls.
Okay.
Did that answer your question, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of this resolution to increase the security budget and commence negotiations with Cape Coral Police Department, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. The next item is a discussion and agreement about board liaison assignments. I sent out an email where based on what I thought was a summary of our discussions to date, and I believe a copy of it is in everybody's package. Is there any discussion on this?
Let me see.
It's the last page of the
Has he got any interest in the committee right away? Put you on the spot?
Probably safety and security.
Okay, good.
Where's Lisa?
I just added.
Okay, all right. Okay. So I will inform the committee that you're going to be the ongoing liaison, although I will attend the next meeting as a transition, because I've been the liaison.
Which ones did Lisa say?
Safety and security.
Only one?
Give her a chance, John.
We got 3 other committees. Right?
What are this? I mean, rules is,
How about social?
we've let her.
Let her think about it.
Yes. Okay, well, yes.
Because I still am keeping my commitment to neighborhood rep.
So we'll twist her arm next month.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Social
Okay.
runs pretty good by itself anyway, as we all know.
Yeah. So I think other than that, I will let Covenants know, John, that you're now the new liaison for them.
Okay.
And I will let the risk management know I'm the new liaison for that, because I want to start meeting with them, because they're obviously going to be part of this discussion with the police department and some of the other stuff. And
What's the date of the next covenants, Chuck?
14 days after today,
Okay.
as per statute.
And then one of the things that I'll be sending out is a communications to the community about trying to encourage participation in the committees, because I know that we have, we're lacking in amenities. I think social's in good shape right now, John, from a membership perspective.
The committee.
The committee.
Yeah, we've had some resignations. We need at least one more.
Okay, all right. And I know finance could use something. Communications, we lost our chairperson for communications, and we need to So I'm looking for someone who might be a bit tech savvy to help us with that.
Also need landscape.
And
And-
landscape.
Oh,
And,
really need landscape.
and
Oh,
ARC.
landscape, that's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
big
yeah,
hole
really
there.
do.
She was a big contributor.
Yes.
Yeah, and ARC.
By the way, I'm
Yes.
extremely complimentary about your finance chairman. He's helped us a lot in lakes. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So I will start communicating with the committees. What I'd like, the committees that you are have liaison with right now, what I'd like to target is at the April meeting that we approve the membership of the committees as we've got at that point, which means we'll need to have any new members that have not been previously in a committee to sign the code of conduct form for a committee member.
So the current committee members that wish to continue don't need to do anything.
They're already done.
I went back and looked at the meeting where that was originated, and I'd never saw an intent that that had to be done on an annual basis.
Great.
So we can reduce the paperwork burden. Let's just concentrate on getting the new members up to speed with that.
Great.
We're all on the same page with that. Good.
Before we leave this, I'd like to talk about the legal representation committee. Because I would like the board to approve Bill Dunker, John Grohl, Rob Ron to be on the committee with Dave Hiller as the chairperson. And the reason I'm asking this now is because we want to get started, and I would prefer to start sooner rather than wait till the next board meeting.
That's a strong bunch.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope you can get your own opinion in edgewise there.
I just,
He's planned it that way.
Yeah.
so
So the three volunteer members are Rob Huron, John Grohl, and Bill Duncan.
and Bill Dunker.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
But you don't have Hiller yet? No.
No, he's already agreed.
He's already been approved as the chairperson.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
we'll have to get the board to approve that now so that we can start.
Make a resolution.
Make the resolution.
Make a resolution that we approve John Grohl, Bill Dunker, and Rob Huron for the legal committee.
I'll second it.
Discussion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Dave, the only thing is, I don't believe John has been on any committee in the last year or so, so
I
I need
will-
to get him to sign the
I'll get him to sign it.
code of conduct form. Thank you. Good. Okay. Moving along. All right, this is where we're going to make the Maryland Florida game guys sweat it out. Okay.
I reported it, but
What? All right, committee reports. I'll start with the ad hoc internet committee. Things are starting to pick up fast with Blue Stream Fiber. We've had 2 pre-construction walkthroughs of the community in the last 2 weeks. The first one was primarily in the front end of the community and the condos and the villas. The second one, which has occurred Wednesday morning, concentrated on the back end, the phase 3 part of the community, and they also did some more looking around the common property area, common amenities area. One thing that we found that was an omission in the original agreement is that we have to add the pool at the Somerville condos as one of the courtesy locations that was done there. We discovered that CenturyLink had a courtesy connection there, so when we did the first walk around. So we're in the process of getting a written amendment to include that in the agreement. And then if you have not seen it yet, there was a press release issued by Blue Stream that has been making the rounds in the business news and in some social media about their agreement with Sandoval. And we expect that we will be scheduling a detailed construction and design review meeting with them sometime in the next couple of weeks. The tentative date for starting of construction, based on our last conversation with them, is May 6th. They are planning on doing a ribbon cutting ceremony with the community on May 5th. And their marketing team is proposing doing a community event, which is a Cinco de Mayo themed event with the community to celebrate the start of the project with Blue Stream. So we'll have more details on that. Any questions on the Internet Committee? Okay. Communications Committee.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Committee did not meet this month. We do have an opening, so I will get together with the existing committee. We'll confer and try to get somebody. If not on the committee, we'll try to put our heads together to see who we might get in and get the paperwork done to get a new committee chair there.
Okay. And Dave, if you've got like a specific set of sort of desires for who you'd like, we'll get this out as a separate email blast to the
Okay.
community, because this might be someone who's been more tech, I mean, is tech savvy, that's willing to work with the website, might be interested in that.
Sure.
Okay. All right, good. ARC.
ARC, normal things are being approved. Nothing special has happened. We lost one gentleman due to other commitments, family things. So we're down to 2 members plus me, and so we need members. Got one perspective. Don't know whether that's going to turn out or not, but we still need more because theoretically, I'm not supposed to be as liaison. I can't vote at a meeting, and we need. Well, we've only got 2, so quorum at this point is 2. So usually we like to have at least 3 at the meeting. You know, when we had 4 members, it worked out. So other than that, things are going well. We're going to review that proposal for metal roofs, metal panels, aluminum panels under the lanais, and we will have that back to the board before next meeting. Send it out so that you guys all get a chance to look at it beforehand.
Who's on the committee now?
Marty and Jean.
Okay, but that the young lady who was going to join it, she's not. She didn't.
No, she was a med. The one she's still up in the air.
Oh.
She's coming to the meeting this week
Okay.
to feel out
Okay.
the meeting. So I'm hoping we get a positive
I would hope so too.
from that.
Yeah.
She would be a great member. But anyway.
So just wanted to throw a comment. Every committee is important, but I think the committee that a majority of the community interacts with at one point is the art committee. And after sitting through a couple of meetings, I'm astounded at the amount of work that they go through on a Saturday meeting, even when you take all the roofs changes they had to deal with last year. So
it was a big deal when all the new roofs were being put on.
right.
It's calmed down a lot now. We get a few that people try to do things that it's just not in the laws, not in the rules. So we have to deny. So
Yeah, I know you denied my 6-foot fountain.
yep.
But all seriousness, I think this is one of the committees where I think someone really has an impact on the community in terms of preserving the architectural standards of the community. So rules committee, we have no report on that. That is one of the ones that we'll be struggling to fill both from a liaison and a membership perspective. I'll reach out to the remaining members there and see where we go from there. Social.
My social reports have typically been just reading the calendar for you, so I won't do that. Social continues to keep us busy with parties. We've got big things coming up, with Mother's Day and Easter and so forth. So please pay attention to your calendars. Join the group. Come to the dances. Come to the dinners, and consider volunteering as a member of the social committee, please.
Okay, thank you. Amenities gym committee.
Amenities, as Chuck said, the pool chairs are being redone. We had this. If anybody wants to see the damage to the bocce court, I have pictures of it that happened. Somebody in their electric bike just dug holes in the bocce court, and Chuck and Brian have arranged to get 2 cameras up there because the current camera, the Enviro camera, is too far away, and so that hopefully we don't know, but it's frustrating every 2 months, it seems like somebody comes up and decides to use the bocce court as a mud hole.
I mean, that's an example where there's a real cost to the community because we have in our budget every year a refresh of the clay surface. But if the clay surface gets damaged, we then have to go get more clay just to make the bocce court usable.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, I don't know how many guys were at it trying to repair it, and it took half a day or more, plus to come back the next day to put some more water on it to make it, because they dug it all the way down to the gravel.
Right, and it's prevented them from playing their Saturday morning league, if I remember.
Yeah, it was Saturday morning when it was discovered.
Yeah.
I believe. So it happened.
Yeah. So that's
Friday
so not
night,
only did
probably.
they put work into it, they didn't get to enjoy the amenity.
Nope.
Yeah.
So, and then the fence is still getting on the tennis and pickleball courts. The fence is still in process or waiting for them to do it.
Yep.
Yep. So that's about it. Dog park is okay. Everything's going okay in the dog park.
We got a new picnic table in the front dog park. Thank you. I think Brian got that ordered. I'm not sure, but we like that.
Yeah, it used to be out here on the Lanai.
Oh, that one.
Oh,
Okay,
it moved
yeah.
around.
Jessica wanted it
Out.
because it was in the way of some of her events, so we put it down at the dog
Well,
park.
people have been using it, so it's appreciated.
And we do have money in the budget for benches for the other dog park, which we're just waiting to kind of get to
Yep.
put that together.
That's it for amenities, basically, for now.
All right. All right, safety and security. The two big items with safety and security are is they're working with Brian they pick the locations to install the speed mitigation signs. And we're waiting for the signs to be delivered so they can get in and be programmed. So we can start collecting the data and start maybe getting some speed mitigation out of those signs. The second big activity that they have been doing is they are now researching and soliciting proposals from alternatives to Envira. It's not, this last outage that we had with Envira, was sort of the catalyst to start going out and looking at some of the issues. And we're going to be formalizing the proposal process to follow along the lines of what the landscape committee did to get competitive bids, and what the internet committee did, and what the lakes committee is now doing to look at a potential lake maintenance contractor replacement. One of the big issues that you have to deal with is how we're going to transition the existing badge approvals from one system to another system. And if we were a small community of, let's say, 50 people, there'd be some grumbling, but you tell everybody we're going to go get new badges. You can't go tell 3,000 people we're going to go get new badges and expect everybody to be happy about it. So part of understanding what a replacement system would be is understanding a transition strategy associated with it to minimize the disruption to the community. So this is why it's going to take some while to sort all this out.
Maybe somebody else could read the same badges.
Well, that's if Envira is willing to share the data, or if we have the access to export it. So there's all these. So you got to go back to the Envira contract to make sure we have access to that. We don't want to be where we're going to sit there and do like a oh crap moment after we sign the contract with this. So that's why this is not going to be a quick change, a quick recommendation. Okay. We'll skip Lakes Committee because we spent enough there already. Finance.
You don't want me to give a report?
You have a report?
Of course, we're not doing just one thing. So we're also getting quotes for lake management. The reserve spend was for shoreline repair. This is for the lake management. We've gotten quotes, 5 different quotes. We've started having vendor visits where they come and talk to the Lakes Committee and answer questions. We had one last week, we have one next week, and one the next week after that. So I might have something for you next month on lake management company. We'll see.
Anything else? Any questions for Lakes?
Now, I have a comment that the potential to change lake management companies could be quite nice. Some of the companies we've looked at are more capable and seem to care better. So at the same price. So it's a good thing they're looking at it.
Okay. So one thing, when you're engaged in these committees, or these potential vendors, are you sharing with them our vendor liability requirements?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to try to, short circuit any issues with that down the road. Okay. All right. Finance committee?
Finance committee, the couple issues that we've been reviewing, one of them is that, GL coding seems to be incorrect in some areas. I sent an email from the finance committee with the list of the GL codes and what we are questioning. Right before this meeting started, I got an email back from Precedent. I haven't had a chance to read it, but explaining what they're doing to correct it. And then the other big issue is the fact that how late they were sending out the invoices. I have requested them to start mailing out the invoices on the first of the month prior to when they're due to give the resident, give it 30 days to get to the residents, because as of today, I still got an email from a resident that said they still haven't received their invoice. So, we got to get that taken care of.
All right. Thank you.
Um,
Landscaping?
Landscaping, the only thing I really want to say about landscaping is that we are going to start the restoration process for this year. The first place we want to attack is out by the pool, and we want to get that started sooner rather than later. The areas in the rest of the common area, we can wait till rainy season like we did last year, because it just gives the plants a better chance to take. But the Juniper said that the pool area, they should be able to handle that, not have to worry about lack of rain. So just letting everybody know that we're going to start moving forward with that.
Okay. Any questions for Dave on landscaping? Okay. Covenants. I don't think we have a required covenant, although, Jen, I will share with you that I was copied on an email exchange where some members of the covenants team felt they got late notice about a meeting being canceled because of no violations to be reviewed. So that might be something you might want to discuss with Tom Posada, the chairperson, to sort of see if we can improve the communication process to the board members,
Jeff, I
to
need
the
to
committee
get
members, I should say.
the email addresses from you if I can. Top, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Obviously, risk management is not had a meeting, although I will say risk management did a lot of work in January, February to get our new insurance policies in place. When I meet with them, I'll be making they're in sync with the activities to do a new agreement with Seabreeze, the potential for a replacement, and the potential for a replacement for Solitude, so that they're part of that process also. Plus, I want to start talking to them about reinstituting a process to get any person who uses the gym to sign a release, releasing us of liability, and then sort of using it as a way to sort of help police the area a little bit better with some of the underage users that have been sneaking in with that. Okay. Any questions on risk management? Okay. Strategic planning.
No current update. I backburnered it, but I'll kick it off and get everything rocking and rolling for a full report with any new members we add. I am talking to a couple people on new
Good.
members.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Ad hoc legal representation, we went through that already.
Yeah, the only thing is that that we have identified 5 law firms that we're gonna want to start talking to, and one of them is Becker. We're not, they're included in it. That's really,
Yeah, that was our commitment to them. Yeah.
yes.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Dave? All right. Our next regular board meeting is at Thursday, April 24th at 6 p.m. Unless we have anything to talk about, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Does any member of the audience want to address the board at this point?
I make a comment
Yes.
up here.
Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name's Paul Smith. I live on Stony Hill Court. I was actually awaiting to see if the ARC committee topic actually came up. I appreciate the consideration. We're kind of leading the discussion around the elite pan roof for the lanais and so forth, and I appreciate all the work that's been done to take into consideration. It was our understanding that some of the language had already been crafted for consideration to change the guidelines, and was a bit surprised that we weren't voting on it in this particular meeting, and that it's going to be pushed again another 30 days. Understood people have other lives, and it's but I was just curious what that process will look like.
So the write-up that we got was created by a non-ARC member.
Sure.
The feedback that I got on is that it sounded like it was written by a lawyer, not the ARC. So that's why we wanted the ARC to review it and craft it so that it's consistent with the rest of the language in the architectural guidelines.
Okay.
And that's why it's been unfortunately delayed, but I think we want to get it done. It's just a matter of making sure it'll fit into the architectural guidelines properly.
Okay. Is there a way that we could get a commitment that maybe it would be brought to a decision on April 24th?
I'm 95% confident it will be on the agenda for the April meeting.
Okay.
There's always the 5% chance something, hell may break loose and we'll have to do something else that day.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Enough?
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Would anybody else like to address the board? Okay, thank you. Everybody have a good evening.
Plenty of time to spare.